Hello everyone. On this video we're just going to do a couple of practical examples using fractions and mixed numbers. Alright, so let's say for example you have the diameter of a steel shaft is reduced by 7/1000ths of an inch. The original diameter of the shaft was 850/1000ths of an inch. What is the new diameter of the shaft? Alright, so what I want you to do is go ahead and give that a try. Press pause and give that a try on your own, just to see if you can get it. Alright, so assuming you've already pressed pause and worked it out, best thing to do is to draw a picture, at least for me, when dealing with story problems. So let's say that's your shaft, and the diameter is really just the length from one end of the circle to the other. Okay, so from here to here, that's your diameter. Okay, so that means from there to there, I'm going to write that on the outside. It started off as 850/1000ths of an inch. But they reduced that diameter. Alright, so if it was 850/1000ths of an inch, let's say they reduced it, and I'm just going to fill that in for the reducing part of it. Won't be perfect, but hopefully you'll get the idea. Alright, so let's say if it started off right on the outside to this outside of 850/1000ths of an inch, and they reduced it, let's say they shaved or whatever it could be, they reduced the diameter, and now it's, okay, let's say the inside of the diameter is from here to here, and they shaved 7/1000ths of an inch. That means you have 850/1000ths of an inch minus 7/1000ths of an inch. Since the since the denominators are both the same, you just subtract your numerators. You have 843/1000ths of an inch is your new measurement, or the new diameter. Alright. So if you are still writing, feel free to press pause. But we're going to go ahead and move on to our next example. And by all means, if you want to press pause to write this down, feel free. Okay, so newspaper ads are sold by the column inch, which is CI. What is the total number of column inches for a month in which a plumbing contractor has had ads for 6.5, 5 3/4, 3 1/4, 4 3/4, and 5 column inches? Alright, so again, what I want you to do is press pause and try to solve this one on your own. Alright, so assuming you've already solved it, let's go ahead and verify. So the total number is just a very fancy way of saying add them together. Okay, so you have 6 1/2 plus 5 3/4 plus 3 1/4 plus 4 3/4 plus 5, or you can just say 5 over 1. Okay. So now we can see here that if we wanted to solve for our least common denominator would equal 4. Because you have 2 and you have 4 and you have 1, the least common denominator would be 4. All right, move that up a little bit. So what we have to do is we have to convert all of these to have a denominator of 4. So you have 6 and 1/2. I'm going to write these vertically. You have 5 and 3/4. You have 3 and 1/4. You have 4 and 3/4. And you have 5 over 1. All right, now, in order to add our fractions together, we have to all have a common denominator. So how do we turn 2 into 4? We multiply it by 2. So we multiply this fraction by 2 over 2. 5 over 1, how do we get a denominator of 4? We multiply it by 4. Okay, so now we get 2 times 1, which is 2, and 2 times 2 is 4. So we have 6 and 2/4. Remember, 1/2 and 2 over 4 are equivalent. You have 5 and 3/4. You have 3 and 1/4. You have 4 and 3/4. And there's 5 over 1. 5 times 4 is 20 over 4. So you have 20 over 4. All right, and we just go ahead and add all of those together. Okay, so if we add all of our whole numbers, okay, get 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we have 18. Then we have 2 plus 3, which is 5. Plus 1, which is 6. We have 9. So we have 29 over 4. Actually, we could have left that as 5 and we would have been okay, but this is fine. We'll still get the same answer. Okay, so we have 18 and 29 over 4. Okay, so 29 over 4. Remember, that's 7 and 1/4. All right. So we have our 18 and 29 over 4 is just 18 plus 29 over 4. So that's 18 plus, and 29 over 4 is 7 and 1/4. So 18 plus 7 plus 1/4. Because remember, 7 and 1/4 is just 7 plus 1/4. Okay, so if we add our two whole numbers, that gives us 18 plus 7, which is 25 and 1/4. So this gives us a final answer of 25 and 1/4 column inches. And again, if you left this 5 as just 5 and added your whole numbers and added just your fraction, you would end up with the same answer. Okay, there are usually multiple ways you can add these together. All right. So if you are still writing, feel free to press pause. But we're going to go ahead and move on to our last example. Okay, so we know that a blueprint requires 4 separate pieces of wood measuring 5 3/8 inch, 8 1/4 inch, 6 9/16, and 2 5/8 inch. How long a piece is needed to cut these pieces if we allow 1/2 inch for waste? All right, so this one's tricky, but I want you to try and press pause and try to solve this one on your own. All right, so assuming you've already pressed pause and worked this one out, this one, drawing a picture, would definitely help. So this is your piece of wood. It doesn't have to be perfectly drawn. We know we have 5 3/8. We know we have 8 1/4. We know we have 6 9/16. We know we have 2 5/8. And remember also that when you're cutting, like in between the pieces, little bits of it get shaved off. So if you're cutting, remember they allowed 1/2 inch for waste. So when you're cutting all those pieces, there's an extra 1/2 inch that they're allowing for just waste. Okay, so they want to know how many of that is all together. All right, so we have 5 3/8 plus 8 1/4 plus 6 9/16 plus 2 5/8 plus 1/2. Okay, so we have your denominators of 8, 4, 16, 8, and 2. We know our least common denominator in this case is 16. Okay, so how do you turn 8 into 16? You multiply it by 2. So you multiply the numerator and denominator by 2, you get 6 over 16. What will turn 4 into 16? Multiply by 4. So if you multiply the numerator and denominator by 4, you get 4 over 16. So this already has a denominator of 16, so that doesn't change. How do you turn 8 into 16? You multiply it by 2. So you multiply the numerator and denominator by 2, you have 10 over 16. How do you turn 2 into 16? You multiply it by 8. You multiply the numerator and denominator by 8, you have 8 over 16. So writing these vertically, you have 5 6/16, 8 4/16. I'll move this up a little bit. 6 9/16, 2 10/16, and 8 over 16. We're going to add all those together. So if we add all of our whole numbers, that gives us 21. If we add all of our numerators, 6 plus 4 plus 9 plus 10 plus 8, we get 37/16. Okay, so remember, 37/16, we convert that to a mixed number, is 2 5/8, well, 5/16. Remember, it's just 2 plus 5/16. So if we have 21 37/16, that's just 21 plus 37/16. All right, so we know 37/16 is equal to 2 plus 5/16. So that will be 21 plus 2 plus 5/16, which becomes 23 5/16. So this converts to 23 5/16 inches. All right, so hopefully this made sense. And like I said, whenever possible, when dealing with story problems, try drawing a picture. Sometimes it helps. All right. So again, hopefully it made sense, and I will see you on the next video.